One clue lies in which parts of the brain go quiet during REM sleep. The prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for reasoning, self-control, and connecting cause to effect, becomes far less active. Meanwhile, the emotional centers of the brain, especially the amygdala, become more active than during waking life. In other words, while you dream, the part of you that manages emotion is turned up, and the part of you that manages logic is turned down. That single shift may explain almost everything strange about dreaming. The intense fear, the sudden joy, the events that make no sense yet feel completely real in the moment. You are not broken. You are simply a mind running without its usual editor. But that alone doesn't explain the strangeness of dreams. If this were simple filing, why does a dream about your childhood home suddenly become a dream about being late for an exam you never actually took? Why do dead relatives appear as if they were never gone? Why does the dreaming brain so often ignore logic entirely?
So, researchers began asking a different question. Not what do dreams mean, but what do dreams do? One answer came from an unexpected place: memory. Sleep researchers noticed that people who slept after learning a new skill performed better the next day than people who stayed awake the same number of hours. Something was happening overnight that improved the learning, and much of it seemed to happen during dreaming sleep specifically.
It acts like a lock,
In one well-known study, participants who learned a maze in a virtual environment and then napped were far more likely to report dreaming about the maze, and those who did improved their performance dramatically compared to those who napped without dreaming about it at all. The leading theory now is that dreams are involved in sorting. Your brain spent the day gathering enormous amounts of information, most of it irrelevant, some of it important, and at night it begins deciding what to keep. Dreaming may be what that sorting process feels like from the inside.
Because dreaming is expensive. During the deepest stage of dreaming sleep, known as REM, your brain becomes almost as active as it is while you are awake. Blood flow increases. Neurons fire in dense, complicated patterns. Meanwhile, your body is deliberately paralyzed, muscle by muscle, so that you cannot act out what your mind is experiencing. This paralysis is so precise that when it fails, even briefly, people wake up acting out their dreams physically, sometimes violently. That single medical condition tells researchers something important. The paralysis isn't accidental. It's a safety mechanism built specifically to let something else happen undisturbed. Evolution rarely spends this much energy and builds this much protection around something meaningless.
Here is something surprising. Every mammal that has been studied shows signs of dreaming. Cats twitch through hunting sequences. Dogs paddle their legs mid-sleep, chasing something only they can see. Even animals separated from us by tens of millions of evolution appear to enter the same strange internal theater we do. That raises an uncomfortable question. If dreaming served no purpose, why would evolution keep building brains that do it, generation after generation, species after species, at enormous biological cost? Then science arrived, and for a long time, it dismissed all of that. Dreams were called noise, random electrical static, the brain firing without purpose while the body rested. Case closed, mystery solved, nothing more to see. Except the mystery never actually closed. The closer scientists looked, the stranger dreaming became.
Built rituals around them, convinced that something important was trying to get through. If only you knew how to listen. It was assumed that dreams meant something, that they were trying to tell you a truth your waking mind was too busy to notice. Maybe that's the real hidden truth. We spend our lives searching for meaning in the world around us, when part of that search has been happening inside us the entire time, every single night, in a language we are only beginning to learn how to read. Which means that every night, without meaning to,
You take part in something ancient, something shared with almost every warm-blooded creature that has ever closed its eyes to rest. You are not simply switching off. You are entering a workshop that has been running since long before humanity existed. One that edits your memories, tests your fears, comforts your grief, and quietly shapes who you become by morning.
What is becoming clearer is this. Dreaming is not a glitch in an otherwise perfectly logical machine. It may be one of the oldest problem-solving tools evolution ever built. Older than language, older than tools, older than fire. Long before early humans told stories around a flame, their ancestors were already dreaming in the dark. Minds quietly rehearsing danger, sorting memory, processing emotion no waking hour had time for.
There is one more strange piece to this puzzle. A small percentage of people report something called lucid dreaming, the experience of realizing you were dreaming while still inside the dream, sometimes gaining the ability to shape what happens next. Brain scans of lucid dreamers show something unusual. Areas of the prefrontal cortex, the very region that usually goes quiet during REM sleep, flicker back on. For a brief window, the sleeping mind borrows a piece of the waking mind's control. Nobody fully understands why this happens in some people and almost never in others, but it suggests that the line between dreaming and waking consciousness may be far blurrier than it first appears. Still, this doesn't account for everything either. Why do some dreams feel prophetic, eerily connected to real events that follow? Why do certain dreams stay vivid for decades, while entire years of waking memory blur together and vanish? Here, honesty matters more than comfort. Science does not have a complete answer. Some researchers argue vivid dreams simply attach themselves more strongly to emotion, and emotion is what memory clings to. Others suspect we are still missing pieces of how consciousness and memory intertwine during sleep. The truth is that dreaming sits at the boundary of what modern neuroscience can currently explain, and admitting that boundary is more honest than pretending otherwise. There's another layer to this too, one that involves not danger, but connection. Some of the most emotionally intense dreams people report involve relationships. Reconciling with someone they've lost touch with, speaking to a parent who has passed away, reliving a version of love that no longer exists in waking life. Researchers studying grief have found that dreams involving deceased loved ones often shift over time, becoming less distressing and more comforting as mourning progresses, almost as if the sleeping brain is working through loss the same way it works through fear, quietly, repeatedly, until the weight of it becomes bearable. This has led some researchers toward a theory that sounds almost like something from folklore, except it is built on brain scans rather than superstition. The idea is that dreams may function as emotional rehearsal, a kind of simulator, running scenarios of danger, loss, conflict, and fear in a space where nothing you do can actually harm you. Nightmares about falling, being chased, or losing someone may not be random horror. They may be your brain practicing how to survive threats, refining fear responses, without any real risk attached. Some researchers have found that people who experience more threat-related dreams show measurable improvements in how calmly they respond to real stress the next day, as if the mind had already rehearsed the worst version of events overnight. If that's true, it reframes something most people consider a nuisance. The nightmare isn't malfunction. It might be maintenance.